Hey, this is Geno Reynolds from The Real Opinion here at Wizard World Chicago 2013 with one of my favorite villains and one of my favorite shows, Prison Break, Robert Knepper. How you doing, man?
Thanks, man. I'm great. Glad to be here.
Like I said, my first experience, you've been acting for a long time, but my first experience with you was with Prison Break, as a lot of people's were. I'm always curious, where did you come up with the inspiration on how to play that role so brilliantly?
Well, two things. One is my acting teacher, Bill Esper in New York, always said, play the character the opposite of how you think it should be. Don't play a bad guy like a bad guy, play him like a good guy. Don't play a good guy like a bad guy. So the first thing that came to me when I was thinking about T-Bag was be charming. Just be really charming. I had a great teacher up at Northwestern when I was there, an acting teacher who was from the South. I knew he was going to be from the South, so I was going to have fun with that accent. But she would say like these cutting words, but say them so beautifully that you would say, wait, did I just hear that? Like she would say, I want you to get off the stage, and I never want you to darken it with your appearance again. I'm sorry, am I being a bitch? And you'd be like, what'd you just say to me? And the other thing that struck me about the character was that he never had a safety valve. You know, he just, whatever he felt like doing, whatever he said, he just would let it come out. He reminded me of a dog, of an animal. And my dad's a veterinarian, and I grew up helping my dad with all the kinds of dogs and cats. And I just thought, he's a dog. He's a total dog. He'll come up and sniff anybody's butt. That's the way he was.
Now, the character, or Prison Break ended, and of course you weren't playing Theodore anymore, but then you returned for Breakout Kings. How did that come about?
That was really fun. That came about a couple years afterwards. I thought T-Bag was dead. And Nick Santora called me up. He was one of the creators of Breaking Bad, one of my favorite writers on Prison Break. And he said, I got this idea of this show where these people break out and then people that used to be in prison help find them again and put them back in prison. And we're thinking of bringing back T-Bag. We want to know what you think about it. I said, one, you can't kill him because T-Bag became, thanks to the writers, this iconic character. And I want him to live forever, even though I don't want to play him the rest of my life because I want to go on and be known for other things in my acting life. He was a great character to play. They said, no, don't worry, we're not going to kill him. And the other thing is, you got to pay me well, and he paid me well, so I was able to do it. And it was just great. And when he sent me the script, he said, I have to tell you, these are some of the best lines, if not the best lines for T-Bag I've ever written. And I totally agree with him. I thought they were great.
Yeah, I loved it when it came back. I loved that episode.
Yeah.
That's honestly the only episode I've watched of that show just because
really?
you were in it.
Oh, thank you.
Granted, it's in my Netflix queue, but I did want to watch that one just because you're in and I loved it.
No, it was, it's funny. I hadn't played T-Bag. It was maybe a couple years. Maybe longer. No, I think it was about 2 years. I never thought about it. I put the hand back on, and it was like putting the glove back on. You know, I didn't have to do any research. I didn't have to think too hard about it. I played T-Bag for 4 years, so I couldn't have easily forgotten it.
Now you've played both villains and heroes in your career, but you seem to be either placed or deviate yourself to a lot of villains. Do you prefer to play the villain over the hero?
No, I like to play great characters. I like to play three-dimensional characters. I don't like to play a guy who's all good or all bad. And pretty much the writing nowadays for characters is pretty much that way. You're never one or the other. It's not black and white.
Now, was there a part you ever really wanted that you didn't get?
No, not yet. I hear that, it's funny, every so often somebody will come up and say, I hear this rumor that you're going to be the next Joker. And I said, really? Are they making another Batman movie with Joker in it? I thought the guy did pretty well. I actually heard that Heath stole the tongue thing from me, but hey, we all steal from the best. So I steal myself a lot.
Yeah, they say it's better to steal than to borrow.
Exactly. That's true.
Okay, moving on to heroes. Yeah. It kind of ended abruptly. Did they have any plans for Sullivan past the season that you were in?
I don't know if they had any plans for any character beyond that. A lot of times with networks, the fans want one thing and the networks have a whole other agenda based on ratings. And the ratings that year were not so hot, so
well,
they didn't let it go for another season.
You have a new series coming out. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, right now it's called Lost Angels. I don't know, hopefully it'll still be called that, but look for it in December on TNT. 1940s gangsters versus cops in LA. And it's Godfather's my favorite movie, so it's great to be in that genre and be one of these, one of these guys that you don't want to mess with, who will take care of you like family, but you cross that family and you're gonna be in trouble.
Is there any actors or directors that you've never worked with that you really have dreamed of working with?
Oh my God, there are so many directors. Steven Soderbergh comes to mind right now. Quentin Tarantino comes to mind. Scorsese comes to mind. I just got cast in a movie talking about playing a good guy. I'm going to play Helen Hunt's husband in a film that she wrote and is directing. Right now it's called Ride. And it's just a, I hate to use the word in a bad way, but it's just a normal guy. He's just like a fun-loving guy who's her ex-husband. There's so many people out there that are writing and directing now that, I mean, if you like them as people, you go, hey, I want to work with you as an actor and as a director. So many of them.
I think I'd like to see in a Tarantino film. I think you'd be brilliant.
Tim Roth and I had 4 callbacks for Reservoir Dogs, and Tim got it. And I was like, oh. But yeah, I'll work with him. Yeah, I know he likes me, so we'll see.
It was hard to pass up Tim Roth in that movie, but you would have been great in that part as well.
He was terrific.
One last question. If a show about Theodore Bagwell came back out about his prison life, would you do it?
If you had asked me that question about 3 years ago, I would have said absolutely not. I do not want to play teabag the rest of my life. But I was just thinking about that this past, couple weeks. I thought, yeah, if I got enough other things under my belt, if I have another great, I think Los Angeles is going to be a great show, right? But say I do that for a couple years, and maybe I'll go back to it. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, me as a fan,
talk to your people and propose the idea.
Me as a fan would love to see that. I love you in that character, though. I love seeing you in other things as well. Yeah. Robert, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. This has been Geno Reynolds from The Real Opinion with Robert Knepper. Until next time.